NFL, week 4, Eagles, Buccaneers, preview, predictions, and a little Bay Michkov mania. We're live here on Train the AM in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill. Wherever you are watching, whichever platform you are watching on, please do me that favor and do whatever that platform needs. Hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe or follow, the repost, whatever it is, please hit all those buttons. It is free to do. It is free to support a local content creator. It's free to turn the dial off and turn Trending in the AM on, the number one morning show in Philadelphia, the first daily YouTube show in Philadelphia. Hey, not just the best YouTube show in Philadelphia, the best show, period, in Philadelphia. That's my word. Tune in. You can find out why everybody thinks this, guys. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, as you can see. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard A Knowledge. That's how you get a hold of me. And guys, we got lots to talk about today as we get set for Eagles versus the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. After Helene gets through the area there, prayers and shout outs and positive vibes to everyone down there. Everyone down there, because you know this hurricane is really doing damage to the the Gulf Coast and the Panhandle of Florida, now into Georgia. So thoughts, prayers, and positive vibes to everyone in its path. Heck, we're going to get a lot of rain up here this weekend from the outer bands of it. So, guys, thoughts, although I know my man Joe Castro, host of Philly, he's down there in Florida. You know, so positive vibes to all those guys out there. I think actually a couple people from the EOP family are down in Florida as well. So positive thoughts, positive vibes to each and every one of those people as this storm rolls on. But we are going to talk Eagles. We are going to talk Buccaneers. Keys to victory, keys to the game, how the Eagles can find a way to win if they can find a way to win. We are going to dive into all of that today. And yes, I've got some thoughts. I've got some opinions on the game. I have some ideas how I think the Eagles can win the game. It is not going to be an easy victory. But we're going to do our best to figure out how we get there. Right into the comments we are going to get to. Giants, the Giants, the Cowboys did not look good last night. I did not watch much of that game, if any of that game last night. I did call Giants plus 5.5, and it just squeaked out a W, my first win of the week this week. I seem to be pretty spot on. I think I'm 4-0 on Thursday night football games this year. I'm predicting the spread. So had that part right. I did. I instead last night, Marshawn, I was watching preseason hockey because Michkov mania is running wild in my veins right now. And I was. And when he scored the empty netter to seal the game at the end, I actually gave a little fist pump. I watched about almost the majority of the third period of that hockey game last night, just so you know. Are you Phil Stiefel or Phil Hurts today? We're going to talk about Jalen Hurts today. But I think Jalen Hurts is part of the key to victory, of course, naturally, as he is the Eagles' starting quarterback. But because of the way Todd Bowles has dominated Jalen Hurts throughout the last 4 times that they've faced off against each other in the last couple of years. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. And I don't think the matchup is necessarily Todd Bowles versus Jalen Hurts, Brian. I think the matchup and the key to one of the number one keys to an Eagles victory is Todd Bowles versus Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has taken Jalen Hurts' numbers against the blitz and improved them between play calling, mixing in more runs, X, Y, Z, all the different things there. Kellen Moore has to have a game plan prepared to eliminate Todd Bowles' ability to blitz. I mean, think about it this way. So Jalen Hurts in 4 games, he's 1-3 against Todd Bowles. He has been blitzed out of 138 dropbacks 91 times. It's almost a 66% clip. You can't let Todd Bowles blitz Jalen Hurts 66% of the time on Sunday. That would be a recipe for disaster, and I'll admit it. I will. Even though Jalen Hurts' numbers have gone up this year, it's a small sample size. So I'm leaning towards the fact that Kellen Moore is one of the major keys to this game. We're just jumping into one of my major keys of this game right here in the first few minutes of this show because, man, it's going to be nasty. I know the hurricane will have passed, but they're calling for 88 degrees with humidity close to 100, thunderstorms and rain showers throughout the day in Tampa. So it's going to be a slog wet fest. So it's up to Kellen Moore to develop an offense and a game plan featuring our running back, Saquon Barkley, maybe some of our other running backs. Obviously, there's going to be no Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. It hasn't been ruled official, but it's trending that we're going to be without both those guys. So you're going to have Johnny Wilson, John Dotson, Paris Campbell. They're your wide receivers on Sunday. So it's going to be Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, oddly enough, probably a little bit of Kenny Gainwell, and it's on Kellen Moore to devise that play. Since he drives the car, it's up to him to figure that out. Giants covered. Excuse me. Yeah, Giants covered. That's all that matters, right? In a betting aspect, covering is all that matters, right? Todd Bowles is Jalen Hurts' boogeyman. He has been through 3 years. He has. He's forced Jalen Hurts to throw 4 turnovers. He's sacked them 4 times. Jalen Hurts' completion percentage is way below his norm when he goes up against Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is an excellent defensive coordinator, defensive mind. Money. Yeah, it's all that matters is the money. We talk about Hurts every day. Isaiah Rodgers and Devin White's treatment is not talked about enough. Well, we've talked a little bit about Devin White, and there's a poll. I forget who it was. I just had it up on my Twitter page because I wanted to give this information, but then I closed it back out to share the show out. Which Eagles player do you want Vic Fangio to stop forgetting about, Marshawn? And I think 2 of these guys could be keys to helping this team win. And it's funny you mentioned 2 of these names, Isaiah Rodgers and Devin White. So there was a Twitter poll yesterday floating around. I shared it out. I made some comments on it. Who would you like Vic Fangio to finally realize as a member of the Eagles? Isaiah Rodgers, Devin White, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., or Jalix Hunt? Just so you know, for purposes, I wrote down the percentages as of about 7 a.m. Isaiah Rodgers had 17% of the vote. Devin White had, I can't even see my numbers, 24%. Trot had 26%, which is kind of crazy. And Jalix Hunt had 32%. With what Bryce Huff has been unable to accomplish this year so far in 3 games, small sample size. I'm going to give you a Bryce Huff stat in a second. Devin White and Jalix Hunt not having a single snap on defense this year. Devin White being inactive all 3 games. It's a crime. Isaiah Rodgers, I don't really get upset that he's not out there. Where are you going to put him? Realistically speaking, you can't move Quinyon Mitchell now. Quinyon Mitchell has established himself as one of the elite cornerbacks in the NFL already through 3 games. His numbers prove it. His pass breakups, the quarterback rating thrown in his way, what he doesn't give up. So Rodgers is not a slot cornerback from what I've been told. So to me, that doesn't bother me. The Devin White thing, it's kind of insane to me, or even Jalix Hunt. Trotter Jr., Trotter Jr. and Rodgers, there's just no room for them on the defense right now. You're not going to take Nakobe Dean or Zach Bond off the field for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Trotter Jr. is not an outside guy. Devin White has been outside before, so you could use him there. And Jalen Hunt, he's already dressing on game day. He's playing special teams. What harm would it be to give 5 of Bryce Huff's snaps to Jalen Hunt just to see what he could do? Now, I will say this. I did see a stat yesterday, and I forget the exact number. But someone went and did some digging deep on Bryce Huff. And he is second in the NFL in edge rushers in being chip blocked on the outside there at the start of a play. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe Bryce Huff is not used to being the guy that gets that elbow from the tight end. Maybe he doesn't know how to fight through those chip blocks. Maybe that's on Vic Fangio to help teach him how to get off that chip block there or move away from the chip block there. So I'm not trying to support Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff looks terrible at this point, but maybe something's got to give there. Maybe something's got to happen there. And again, give Hunt or White a shot. What is up, Duck? Good morning to you. Kellen Moore has Hurts doing better against the blitz. He does in a small sample size. So this is a week where we can see if it's working or not. I also think that with the weather conditions and probably the field conditions that we're going to see on Sunday, you won't be able to blitz as much. You're going to run the ball a lot more. You're not going to have long. Plus, we don't have 3 of our top 4 wide receivers playing on Sunday. So the blitz is going to be interesting, and how much Todd Bowles does blitz. Said Poll, never change. By the way, Mitchie Poo. All right, guys, there's 40-some people watching this show right now. Mitchie Poo thinks that people are going to start calling him Mitchie-Koff because of Matvey Mitchkov. And I tried to tell him, ain't nobody calling you Mitchkov, okay? Nobody's calling you. You can't anoint yourself Mitchkov-Kovsky, okay? You can't. You can't. Just because of the Flyers player. Doesn't work that way, Mitch. You are not Mitchkov, okay? Not even close, just so you know. Just so you know. Sub 4.2 speed for Rodgers could be used somewhere. Maddox really getting all of the snaps. Avonte Maddox last week, I forget the exact number, Marshawn, was on the field for, I think it was like 51 or 52% of the snaps. So he wasn't on the field as much last week, Avonte Maddox, but he was out there for a majority of the fourth quarter, which is where he got his snaps. I am not an expert in what makes a cornerback good on the outside versus the inside. What I read from the so-called experts is that Rodgers can't play the slot. Do you really want to move Quinyon Mitchell inside at this point after what you've seen from him? Like I said, already the best cornerback on this team. Maybe in certain matchups, I would consider it when we play the Cowboys and they line up CeeDee Lamb in the slot a lot. Maybe you slide Quinyon Mitchell in on those kind of plays. This week, you're going up against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the most underrated wide receiver duo in the NFL. Mike Evans, arguably the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL, period, over the last 10 years. So you need your 2 best cornerbacks out there, and that is Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay. They don't run a lot of 3 sets. They run a very basic 11 personnel in Tampa Bay. This is not going to be the week you see Isaiah Rodgers unless there's an injury, God forbid, this week. That's just my opinion. There has to be a reason why Fangio is not playing these players. I want Rodgers and Hunt to get chances. Again, I want Hunt to get chance. If Jalen Hunt can't, or if Bryce Huff can't get after a quarterback, and you can sack Baker Mayfield. He's been sacked 12 times in the last 2 games. You can get after him. And if you get him to stay in the pocket too long, you can rattle him. If Bryce Huff is not getting after the quarterback, you absolutely have to give Jalen Hunt a shot. And I say just Jalen Hunt because if Devin White's a healthy scratch again, well, then he has no chance. Who are you not dressing to dress Devin White? Honestly, Vic Fangio has been this guy that's been honest and open and says what he wants all the time and makes these statements, but yet keeps trotting Bryce Huff out there. If I'm making a statement, I'm not dressing Bryce Huff this week to give him a moment to step back, take a breather, and I'm dressing Devin White. That's a bold move, but I would do it. And then what do you have, 18 snaps last week? 9 of them go to White, 9 of them go to Hunt, and let's fight it out for who's going to be that edge guy. Why not? What harm? It can't be any worse than what Bryce Huff's doing. That's my opinion. I'll wait to see after this week. Todd Bowles' week is the game to determine if Hurts is better. But see, here's the thing, Brian. Do you get what I'm saying? That with the weather conditions and the injuries to wide receivers, you might not see Todd Bowles blitz as much because the opportunity to blitz might not be there. You know, we saw what the field conditions were like in Brazil. I'm not saying they're going to be that bad this week, but it is raining a lot in Tampa now, and it's going to rain all weekend long in Tampa. It's very hard to blitz with wet surfaces like that, or blots, or whatever you call it. Spell check aisle 3. So we're seeing a very small sample size of Jalen Hurts being better, but this is a tough week to grade Todd Bowles versus Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts in general with all the different factors adding in. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to throw for 300 yards this week. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 30 times. I expect this to be a week where Saquon Barkley gets 25 rushes. Kenny Gainwell is going to get 5 to 7 rushes. You might even see Will Shipley touch the ball once or twice. The passing game is going to be short passes to Dallas Goedert, short passes to one of the wide receivers. 1, 2, 3, boom, ball is out. That's what you're going to see this week. So I don't know if we're going to get the typical 66% blitz effort from Todd Bowles this week, because I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Oh, you did catch your spelling error. Gotcha. Play Devin White at linebacker and use Bond to pin. Marshawn, I suggested this maybe Monday, or maybe I suggested it before Sunday's game. You know, I don't see why not. I think we did see Zach Bond on the outside last week a little bit in dime situations. I think there was a few plays where Zach Bond slid to the outside last week. I don't see why not. There is opportunities for them to move some things around this defense to get. And look, you spent $51 million on Bryce Huff. I know the Eagles don't want to totally give up on him yet, but it can't hurt to try new things. It just can't. Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean are locked in. I think Nakobe Dean isn't playing at like this amazing elite level. He's playing really good, but I think we're ignoring how good Nakobe Dean's playing because of how insanely great Zach Bond is playing at a position he never played before. So Nakobe Dean is playing, considering how his career trajectory has gone so far in his career. Barely plays his rookie year, gets hurt in his sophomore year and barely plays, comes in this year and beats out Devin White for the job. I think there's something there. I don't think we compliment Nakobe Dean for beating out Devin White. Nakobe Dean has kept Devin White on the inactive list. So I don't think we compliment how well Nakobe Dean has played so far this year. And he can only get better. He's made mistakes. He can be better. We can literally interchange Bond and White since Zach is a great edge rusher. I agree. But yet, for some reason, they're not doing it. Again, to do that, though, Brian, you got to look at who's the game day active roster. What is it, 46 guys they dress, whatever the number is? Who are you not dressing to dress Devin White? A guy that won't play special teams, or at least says he doesn't play special teams, even though rumor has it he did play special teams early in his Bucs career. Who are you not dressing? I mean, I suggest, Bryce Huff for 1 week to make a statement, but you can't do that long term. So who are you not dressing to dress him? I think it's an interesting question. Yeah, Bond and Nakobe are the starters, but sometimes Vic has Zach on the edge. Yeah, I didn't notice it before last week. Last week was the first time I noticed Bond on the outside. Yeah, exactly. It's Mitchie Poo forever. For life. Too sweet, right? That's what it is. Mitchie Poo. Yeah, Mitchie, you're not getting called Mitchie Cough on this show. Ever. Ever. Just so you know. I think I dropped like 3 references there. Maybe Howie just took a chance on a situational player making the jump. I don't think Huff was game planned for with the Jets. I think that's fair as well. He was a small piece in a really good defense. Now he's on a good defense now. I don't think he's being game planned for. You're game planning for, how Jalen Carter's going to go up against Cody Mouch. You're game planning for, Zach Bond. You're game planning for Quinyon Mitchell. Maybe Chauncey Gardner. You're not game planning for Bryce Huff here either. So, I don't know. Look in the group chat. Sal did. Well, Sal's just too nice. Sal doesn't know how to tell anybody something mean. Sal doesn't know how to just look at you, Mitch, and be like, no. He's that person that says yes to his kids all the time. You, Mitch, you're like all of our kid, Mitch. All right? With the poll in 69, you're like our child of the group. Sometimes one of the parents has to be the tough parent. And I'm going to be the tough parent and tell you, Mitchy Poo, you ain't ever getting called Mitchy Cough, just so you know. Ever. Phil, can we pull up the current PFF numbers for our lineup? I cannot because I do not pay for PFF. The only PFF information I have is when I see somebody tweet something out about it. So, no, I can't do that. I don't make enough money to pay for the PFF to get all the grades. You are campaigning for us to call you Mitchy Cough. That's not a yeah. You can't campaign for a nickname. You can't. Other people have to give you your nickname. It's like when George Costanza wanted to be T-Bone, but he wasn't. He couldn't get himself called T-Bone. Someone had to do it for him. But instead they called him Coco the Monkey. So that Mitchy Poo is like Coco the Monkey, right, Marshawn? Yes, exactly. If you can't show enough versatility with Fangio, he usually ain't playing you. But he keeps playing Bryce Huff. I know the snap number went down a lot last week. He keeps going out there. I'll be curious to see what happens there with that. Bryce Huff has been horrendous. I don't even want to say horrendous. He's been non-existent. Are you giving the same treatment to Jalen Hurts? Sit him down and watch? Why? Because Jalen Hurts is so bad? Oh my God. Let's not devolve into that today. I'm trying to keep it off of that. I'm not sure, Phil. Todd Bowles is a madman and Kellen Moore loves to pass. Yeah, all right. I get that. I mean, you're not wrong with either of these statements, Brian. Problem is sometimes situation dictates what you can and can't do. Even if Kellen Moore wants to pass in bad weather. Who's he calling pass plays for? Johnny Wilson? Is John Ross going to get a practice squad elevation this week? I mean, let's get into the injury situation real quick here. So yesterday's practice, it was a full, 2-hour practice. Lane Johnson did stretch with the team. He didn't practice, but he was out there stretching with the team, which tells me that he's trending to clear concussion protocol. He might be out there. Mekhi Becton practice. He's got a club on his hand, a cast on his hand. He's got a left ring finger ligament tear, but he is going to play. Darius Slay practice in full. Okay. Milton Williams limited practice with a groin issue that kind of popped up out of nowhere. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith were nowhere to be seen yesterday. Nowhere. Not even in the stretching. Tells me A.J. Brown's being held out another week, which is, in my opinion, smart. I did see some major media members say that it might be up to 6 weeks now, which would be 2 more weeks after the bye that he might miss. Devontae Smith not out there, says he's not close to clearing concussion protocol. So you're going to be without those two guys. Darius Slay practiced in full as well yesterday, so he should be good to go. I like to err on the side of caution with A.J. Brown. I'm okay with that. But who are you passing the football to if A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both cannot go? That ball is going to be heavy. Jalen Hurts ball security. That is why Kellen Moore. That's why, yes, Jalen Hurts, his turnover issues are a concern in general and this week with Todd Bowles. But that is why I made the number one key matchup Todd Bowles versus Kellen Moore, because it's up to the coaches to put the players in a position to succeed, to pull out an old Andy Reid quote. It's on Kellen Moore to devise a game plan where Jalen Hurts can't be put in a position between all the factors, his recent history, the weather conditions, and the players on the field with him. You put him in a position to succeed by running a heavy run offense this week. What ceases to amaze me is how clutch Brandon Graham is. Does anyone ever remember a defensive end that delivers so disproportionately in crunch time versus non-crunch time? Brandon Graham out there yesterday before or after practice saying, hey, he's reconsidering retirement after this year. This fountain of youth that he's found. How often is there a 36-year-old defensive end playing at a level that Brandon Graham is right now? It's pretty amazing to watch, honestly. It really is. But those conditions won't affect Baker Mayfield at all. Oh, they will. They will. I mean, I got written down here Eagles defense, keys to game. Baker Mayfield's been sacked 12 times in the last 2 games. Jalen Carter versus their guard, Cody Mouch. And their running game. Week 1 and 2, the Eagles' run defense was pretty terrible against the Packers and the Falcons. We gave up 5, 6, 7 yards per carry against Bijan Robinson and Josh Jacobs. They have a 2-headed monster down there in Tampa. Seems like rookie from Oregon, Bucky Irvin, is kind of taking over the lead role. He's got 25 carries, 154 yards. That's a 6.2 yard per carry average. Rashid White, however you say his name, has got 31 carries, only has 67 rushing yards. We got to be able to stop the running game. Got to stop the run game. Force Baker Mayfield to throw in the bad conditions. Force Mike Evans and Godwin to have to get downfield. And then you can rattle Baker Mayfield by getting after him. I expect a big game from Jalen Carter again to follow it up. 1, 2, 3, boom, ball is out. Sounds like a Jalen red zone turnover. Yeah, maybe. PFF is nasty. I remember after like week 1 or 2, it was like one of the worst in the league. Even though it's PFF is one of those things that they have a calculation system to give these grades out, but their calculation system is flawed, big time. That's why even if I could afford to pay for PFF, I wouldn't, because their information, it's like they have an agenda, and they wrote their algorithm to calculate their scores to fit their agenda, if that makes sense. I really, truly, firmly believe that. Baker was dog shit last week and will be even worse on Sunday. Baker Mayfield, I give the dude credit. His career was falling apart, and he found a way to resurrect it in Tampa. Kind of similar, career path as Geno Smith to an extent of resurrecting his career. But let's not act like Baker Mayfield's an MVP caliber quarterback. We would definitely take Jalen Hurts over Baker Mayfield going forward. It's a good story, Baker Mayfield. But let's be honest, he's got lots of limitations. And just like Jalen Hurts has elite wide receivers, he's got elite wide receivers as well down there. Now, they don't have much in the tight end department. Cade Otton, he's got like 7 or 8 catches on the season so far. Not much you have to worry about there. You have to worry about their 2 big wide receivers, and you got to stop their run game. Plain and simple. Jelks Hunt isn't known for getting sacks. Jelks is a future project. He is. He's not known for anything, because he was a safety till 2 years ago. But he's got that raw athleticism, and with all the positivity that came out of training camp, Mista, on Jelks Hunt, it's shocking that he hasn't been given an opportunity. Shocking, in my humble opinion. Because that's all we heard about all throughout camp, how great Jelks Hunt looked. No, Baker's going to be way better. K1, your predictions have been way off. I remember what you said about the Falcons game. Brian's keeping receipts, guys. Brian's keeping receipts on all of us. The pump man, don't forget. Yeah. Are we calling him the pump man? This is what it is. Mitchie Poo. You're Mitchie Poo. We've anointed you, Mitchie Poo. Brian didn't call himself the pump man. We're anointing him the pump man. Okay? You can't make your own nickname. You have to be given a nickname. I don't even remember what I said. I don't remember what I said yesterday, K1. So people can keep receipts on me whenever they want, because I don't remember from day to day what I say. Can't stop the pump. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. You was gaslighted. We ended getting smoked by Cousins. I don't know if I would say we got smoked. It was a close game that we couldn't make one stop late in the game. I wouldn't say we got smoked by Cousins. All right? That's all I got to say about that. I want Johnny Wilson to have a good game. 5 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown type game. As long as he doesn't get called for holding every other time he's out there and pass blocking. That's a big ask. I think if anybody's going to have a stat line like that, it probably will be Jahan Dotson. We did trade a 3rd-round draft pick for him. He is a guy that's played a lot of football. Jahan Dotson should just be in the slot and be the number 1 target, honestly. Harris Gamble as well. You got 3 guys, 2 of them that have had previous success in their careers and Johnny Wilson, this unknown. We'll see. We'll see about Johnny Wilson. It's asking a lot for him to have a stat line like that, but someone's going to need to have a stat line like that, right? The question is, will Jalen Hurts have the confidence to get them the ball? Next pump will produce my. Yeah. Oh, don't get audited. Don't get audited. What are the chances this game gets moved? I think 0 chance. The hurricane's gone. It's going to be gone. It's already into Georgia. There is going to be bad weather still down there, but I don't think this game's getting moved. Not at all, Brian. Haven't heard anything about that. Who's running your pizzeria? Well, it's 8:30 in the morning. The pizzeria is not open at 8:30 in the morning. I do this show till 9:30. I shut the computer down, go upstairs, get my car, and drive right to work. Just so you know. Just so you know. I don't know who is this. Post-Testa? I don't even know who you are, unless it's a burner account. I got the pizza shop, opens at 11 o'clock. I get there about 10:15 every morning, so don't worry. It will be open. Dear medical staff, just say 4 to 6 weeks. You're not fooling anyone. With the A.J. Brown thing, yeah. Look, if he skips A.J. Brown this week and then he gets the bye, that's 4 weeks. So originally he said a few weeks, 4 weeks with the bye. That's fine. At least we signed Devin White away from Tampa. Look, I'm hoping Devin White's being a vital part of the Eagles' offensive room this week, helping coach up the offense. This is what Todd Bowles does. This is what Todd Bowles is thinking. These are kind of the disguises. Devin White better be using his experience to help the Eagles' offense this week, in my opinion. I know, I did just jinx it, didn't I, Pump Man? Now I'm going to call you Pump Man, too. I did just jinx it, and Kate Otton's going to have his... Kate Otten, as a fantasy guy, Kate Otten has 1, maybe 2 breakout games every year for like the last 2 or 3 years. This is going to be the one. He's got not much going on. Hold on. I got their team stats up here somewhere. Let's see. Kate Otten has 8 catches for 52 yards so far on 12 targets this year. This is going to be the week where he has 3 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, because I had to say he's nothing. The Lynchian Hurts hate is beyond exponential. Saquon Barkley doesn't turn the ball over. Hurts has always turned the ball over. Hurts is doing a piss poor job. I think that's a little bit much. A little bit much. Chris Godwin is the highest rated wide receiver right now. I kind of feel bad sometimes for Chris Godwin, because I always talk about how underrated Mike Evans is. Chris Godwin's right there too. There's very few wide receiver tandems that you could say are close to as good as Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're right there. One of the elite tandems. Nobody gives them credit for what they are. And Chris Godwin's doubling the output of Mike Evans so far. It's going to be, one of the keys is, I mean, Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell have played well this year, especially Quinyon Mitchell for a rookie. But Green Bay has some good young wide receivers. The Falcons have 1 great receiver and tight end. The Saints have okay wide receivers. They really haven't been challenged yet. Now, the difference is they're probably facing the worst quarterback. They're facing probably similar to Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield level-wise. This is the biggest test wide receiver-wise that our cornerbacks have faced this year. It's going to be a challenge. And Chris Godwin is pretty damn elite. Sal don't care. No, the core 12 is the only one allowed to give out Mitchie Poo nicknames, okay? You are not anything but Mitchie Poo. We are not accepting it, K1. We are not accepting it at all. What's a bigger ask, Bryce Huff sack or clean game from Hurts? I had asked on social media the other day, what's more likely to happen, a Bryce Huff sack or a Quinyon Mitchell eventual first interception? What's happening first? Yeah, I mean, I would say a Jalen Hurts clean game if Kellen Moore calls the right game plan. Bryce Huff, I mean, I don't even want to see him on the field. So I don't know. But what happens first? I'm going to counter your question with a question. What happens first? Bryce Huff gets a sack or Quinyon Mitchell gets an interception? Hate accountability, the lack of look. I could pull up the stats. again for the 19th time. Josh Allen has more turnovers than Jalen Hurts over the same time period. Patrick Mahomes has one less turnover than Jalen Hurts over the same exact time period. Trevor Lawrence has like massively more turnovers than Jalen Hurts. We don't see criticism of those players. Nobody's criticizing Josh Allen, and he's got more turnovers. So look, turnovers in football in general are up. Again, I still give accountability. I just want you guys to be level-headed when you're calling it. Sometimes when you guys criticize Jalen Hurts, you're not criticizing him, you're hating on him. He's awful. That's blah, blah. No. Accountability is different than hating on. Okay? There's a difference. If you're going to say something, like if you're going to call out Jalen Hurts for what he is, that's fine. But you got to see the good that Jalen Hurts does as well. And you guys refuse to do that. I want Johnny Wilson to not grab on the back of shoulder. He literally holds on every single play. It doesn't get called every play, but he does. Yeah. He's like our new Derek Barnett, gets called all the time. Johnny Manziel. Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. Last I heard, he was playing quarterback for that fan-controlled football briefly. I don't know. I do remember maybe 8 months ago, seeing a story pop up. He did an interview where he talked about him that he contemplated suicide. So hopefully whatever's going on in Johnny Manziel's life, he is getting himself healthy and right in the mind. Self-medication, ADHD is what happened to Johnny Manziel. A little bit of partying, too much too. Hurts clean game. What is that? Okay. What's up, Josh? How you doing? Mitchell picked before that Huff getting a sack. Yeah. Probably. I got you, K1. I do. Even when I do it, I don't do it. That reminds me, it's time to take my meds. Yeah. Get on that. You don't want to miss your meds. What Howie is paying Huff, he will be playing. And Duck, I think that is a huge aspect of why Bryce Huff hasn't been sacked completely yet. When you're paying someone $51 million, they're going to play. And this is one of those moments where Howie Roseman is probably using his authority to overstep Vic Fangio and be like, yo, he's in. You don't want him. I don't care. You got to find a way to get the most out of him. Duck, you're spot on, Duck. Any of those quarterbacks wear midnight green? That's fair. I get it. But I want to hear the same complaints when we talk about who you would take over Jalen Hurts. And everybody wants to say they'll take Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts. Everyone will take this guy over Jalen Hurts, that guy over Jalen Hurts. All those guys turn it over as much. Just keep it equal. That's all I'm saying. Mitchell has picked before Huff gets a sack. Definitely. I hope Bryce Huff has 4 sacks on Sunday just to prove all of us in Philadelphia wrong. Plus, it would help us win the game. Hurt is having a pretty elite season if you only count the second half of games. If. Jalen can have a clean game if insert external factor to avoid holding Hurts accountable. Stop. Don't make me bring the stop back into the equation. Phil, I don't think you could say the S word on YouTube. It has to be self-delete. What S word? What did I say? I don't even know. I this one right over my head. I want to take Jalen Hurts to the backyard and fist fight him every time. Interception. No offense, mister. Jalen Hurts will whoop your ass. Just gonna say. I don't care. Stop trying to justify it, Mitchie Poo. You can't call yourself Mitch Koff. You are Mitchie Poo. Plain and simple. The core 12 has spoken. I don't have a gavel, so I'll use my pen. It's done. Trial is over. You are Mitchie Poo for the rest of eternity. All right? That's it. I wonder who Matty B will be taking. Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Wonder how he's feeling about the Phillies as they enter. Oh, you guys are talking about stop to insert stop to avoid accountability. Stop. The Church of Jalen Hurts is ruining this fan base. Again, as I said, Brian, I've said it 4 times this week, Brian. Give me somebody you want over Jalen Hurts right now, outside of Patrick Mahomes. And I'll tell you why that you're wrong, just so you know. There's a lot of bad quarterback play in the NFL right now. A lot of bad quarterback play. Some players take long to adjust to a new system and surroundings. That is true. That could be Bryce Huff's problem. It could be a lot of players' problems. Archie Manning, you take Archie Manning over him? No, no, no. You know who I would take over Jalen Hurts? I would take SherryTickets.com over Jalen Hurts. If you need tickets to a sporting event, concert tickets, fall concert series right now going on, theater tickets, go to the best. Go to SherryTickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Great prices, no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. And check this out. If you use promo code EOP10 at checkout, you'll save an additional 10% off their already great prices. So why would you overpay with the rest? Save with the best. SherryTickets.com. Again, promo code EOP10. Right back to the comments. You are completely insane, Brian. Baker Mayfield is not even on the same stratosphere as Jalen Hurts. You are literally just trying to rile me up, and I'm not going to let it fall for it. I'm not. I'm not falling for it. Not one bit. Actually, I am. Yeah, SherryTickets.com, always. Well, the Hurts contract might be over when Archie comes out of college. Look, stop. You won't take nobody over Hurts because you hate being wrong. That is so far from the truth. So far from the truth. I am the only guy that admits when he's wrong. I'm not wrong yet. I'm not. I've given you the reasons why Jalen Hurts is fine as the quarterback. Is he as elite as I wanted him to be or thought he might be? Probably not. But he's still one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And that's just straight facts. I am the only one. I'm the one that shared my Saquon Barkley isn't as good as DeAndre Swift. Bad take. I'm the one that calls myself out. I pull receipts out on myself. So don't ever say, I don't want to admit I'm wrong, because I am always admitting my mistakes. Always. What's up, Stevie Fuentes? Yeah, I got my picks ready to go. Got them right here, ready to go. We'll get to them in about 20 or so minutes. See if I can follow up on my 12-4 week last week with another one. I'm already 1-0, picking the Giants plus 5.5 last night. So, I squeezed by, but, it's good. What's up, Mr. Bruce Bryce Harper? Did I watch last night's Between Two Bad Teams? Nope, I did not. Oddly, I don't have my own Prime account, but somebody put their Prime account on my TV for them. I guess too many people were logged into their Prime account. So when I went to go watch the game, it said there's too many accounts logged in. So I got bumped out. But it was good because by getting bumped out and not watching that terrible football game last night, I got to watch Mitchkoff Mania. And I watched the third period of the Flyers game and get some hype. Emerson or whatever his name is, the goalie, looked pretty solid last night in a preseason atmosphere. I'm ready for Flyers hockey action, yo. We got, who was the dude that used to call it into Tony Bruno? We got hockey action, yo. Who was that dude that used to do that? If anybody can remember that from years ago. Can Cherry Tickets stay in the pocket longer than Jalen Hurts? Mitchkoff, Mitchy Poo, whatever you want to be called, you're wrong. You're wrong. 2 years after his extension, Jalen is in second year of his extension. Howie gonna Howie. You're wrong. I'll free pizza if I'm wrong for you, Marshawn. But guess what? If I'm right, you have to pay double for a pizza, okay? Baker and Jalen Hurts were not on the same level, but Jalen has regressed. How's he regressed? His percentages have gone up everywhere. Completion percentage, his attention, his success against the blitz, his overall efficiency has gone up drastically this year. Yes, he's got the turnovers, but every other number on him has gotten better this year. I feel the Cowboys are better than the Giants, but they are not as good as us. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think the Giants were going to win last night. I was even skeptical of taking the Giants in the points last night. We needed the Giants to win last night as an Eagles fan. We did. Didn't happen. The Cowboys proved last night that they are pretenders in every sense of the word. Even Sherry calls you Mitchy Poo. Yeah, exactly. Bottom 10. Yeah, no. Stop. Now you're just trying to rile me up. Giants games should never have been that close. There's something wrong down in Texas. Absolutely, Duck. I keep saying that Doug Peterson will be the first coach fired. If they would have lost that game last night, McCarthy's seat would have gotten flaming hot last night, for sure. Jalen Hurts' number one priority is picking out his walk-in outfit for the game. Guys in these outfit conversations, stop with that. Silly. Silly. Phil, I feel you are right, but I would say Hurts is probably 5 or 6 best. He's in the top 10. He is. You can make an argument or a conversation, top 6-ish, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can make an argument, 8, 9, 10. But nobody can name me 10 quarterbacks better than Jalen Hurts in the NFL right now. Nobody. Nobody. Zero. What's up, Rich? How you doing, my man? Let's go, Birds. That's right. We're talking keys to game, how the Eagles could win, could not win. We'll find out. We're talking everything. We're going to go through all the games and predict them in a few moments here. I feel you don't miss a good game as both teams are not good, and it wasn't a good game. Oh, I know I didn't mention it. I was following along on my phone because I did have a bet, and the only thing that didn't hit on my bet was a Devin Singletary touchdown. Otherwise, I would have had a nice little 7-1 same game parlay hit. Phil watched the Flyers because he got blocked from his Prime account. I know. I mean, I was thinking about watching the Flyers anyway, but I'm like, you know what? I got money on the line on the Cowboys-Giants game. I should probably watch that. But then I'm like, no, you know what? It's a good thing I got to watch the whole almost. I think there was like 2 minutes gone in the third period when I turned it on. So I got to watch a good, solid, third of a hockey game. And K1, let me tell you, let's go Flyers. You're going to hear the Flyers mentioned a few more times on this show this year versus previous years. I said that, Brian, when they brought Zeke back, and I made it. What's the dude's name? Dowd? I don't even know how to say his name. Rico Dowd. I said it before the season started. If you're in fantasy football, you draft him. Not Ezekiel Elliott, you draft him because he's going to be the lead back there, and he is. And he had one of the. I thought he had a touchdown last night. Maybe he did. Let me see here. Yeah, he did. He had a receiving touchdown last night, plus 46 yards on the ground. He led the team. He is probably the best. Jalen's completion has increased so much that he even completes it. Stop. Even Facebook's Dave's getting in on what's his percentage with picks. Just wondering. Hey, look, it's not good this year. It's not. Pumpman saying picking out. Yeah, he's a funny man. Funny like a clown. Funny like he amuses me. Phil, I can only think of 4 or 5 quarterbacks as good as Jalen, better than Jalen, but I agree. People could disagree. He's 100% top 10. There's so much worse in the NFL. The quarterback play in the NFL is at an all-time low right now. The Hurts delegation ruins my fandom. And the Hurts hate ruins my fandom, Brian. Why can't we look at Jalen Hurts objectively? One day, Brian, I would like you to come on this show and discuss with us objectively and don't have your blinders of hate because I can objectively criticize and compliment. I could give him a compliment sandwich, okay? It's just burnt toast all the time. I don't know about that. David Archerry with the mustache, maybe. Cowboys have so little discipline, and that absolutely includes Micah Parsons, absolutely. There's always at least 2 players trying to do more than required, and gaps get vacated. Who's more annoying? Here's a question for everybody. There's a fun little question here at the 48-minute mark of Trending in the AM right here on Legend Philly Sports. Guys, please hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe, that follow button, depending on which platform you're doing. Hit all those buttons. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Who is more annoying in general over the course of the last couple of years? Micah Parsons' brother or Al Horford's sister? Who's more annoying on social media? I know you guys all remember Anna Horford, or as the real Prince was called, Anna Hortford. Love that. If you don't know what that was, hit me up later. I'll explain that one. And Micah Parsons' brother. They're all so freaking annoying. Maybe Mitchie Poo could file court papers to... Yeah, if Mitchie Poo goes to David Archerry and gets an official form signed by a lawyer saying his name change on his Social Security card is Mitchie Cough, then I'll start calling him that, okay? But not till then. Nice to see Mitch Koff get his first goal in a preseason setting, but yes. He had the first breakaway on the empty net, and he hits the post. I'm like, oh, man. This is going to be a long season of almost with Mitchie Koff. I keep calling it Mitchie Koff now, too. Oh, my God. My brain gets fried sometimes. But, yeah, then he gets another breakaway and scores the empty netter to win it or seal it. Yeah, I agree, trash. But there were a lot of people all hyped about Zeke back in Dallas. He was going to rejuvenate his career. That's those senile Cowboys fans that are still thinking about 1995 or whatever it was last. Speaking of stop, can Jalen stop with the turnovers? Oh my gosh. All right, whatever. Would be great together with yeah, I can't even say that name. I'm not even gonna try. Phil, but I feel even if quarterbacks play was good in this league, Hurts will still be in the top 10. Yeah, agreed. What line did he play? I don't really track which lines and stuff like that. I was just watching, casually to have fun and to enjoy some hockey. Missed it. So I'm not sure who was on his line with him last night. I wasn't paying that close attention. But he does move. Man, the guy moves up and down the ice effortlessly. Effortlessly up and down the ice. He's got some great, puck control abilities. The kid's gonna be special. Dave says, Joe Burrows, Josh Allen, Stafford, Dak, Jordan Love. I give you 5 quarterbacks better than Hurts. Yes on Joe Burrows, but it's getting close. He's maybe next year that maybe it's a slump, maybe not. I don't know, but yes, Joe Burrows, Josh Allen, absolutely. But Josh Allen over the same time period has more turnovers than Jalen Hurts. Just so you know, Matthew Stafford might not be there anymore. I don't know. I'm borderline on that one, but I can understand your agreement. Dak Prescott is definitely not better than Jalen Hurts. Jordan Love is not there yet. Jordan Love may be there, but Jordan Love has had 6 or 7 good games in his career, and that's it. All right, so Jordan Love isn't there yet. Okay, obviously Patrick Mahomes is better. C.J. Stroud may be there soon. That's about it. That is about here. Let me go through the list of football games this week. Let me just glance at it real quick. No, you're missing Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's probably better than. That's about it. Again, there are not 10 teams or 10 quarterbacks better than Jalen Hurts. So that's what it is. I can look at Jalen objectively, proceeds to say all external factors is why. No. And actually, hold on a second. If you're going to put words into my mouth, let me get the words right. You didn't say everything I said. I said I can look at him objectively, but because you guys won't, I can't. That is what I said, Marjan, just so you know. If you want to have an objective conversation about Jalen Hurts, we could do that. But you guys are just hate. So I got to give you nothing but love. I got to balance it out. When you got to scale, and there's a lot of weight on this side, you got to put some weight on the other side to balance it out. I'm not going to stand in the middle and let it just tip over. Got to balance it out, my man. Jalen should open an institution, the Hurts Foundation for quarterbacks who can't throw the. I'm not even going to object. I'm not even going to comment on some of this stuff. You did not score. You probably can't even ice skate. Zeke wearing 15 is disgusting. Was paired with Can I say, K1, that I find the President's Cup boring as hell? I see all the other golf experts out there and podcasters out there hyping up the President's Cup and comment and tweeting about it, and I watched half a second of it because I could care less about the President's Cup. It bores me. Remember Max Cherry in Jackie Brown, which is my favorite Tarantino movie. I've never seen Jackie Brown. I won't lie. And maybe that's a violation, but it is. Dak owns the NFC East. Are you kidding me? Dak Prescott don't own shit. Dak Prescott barely beat the New York Giants last night, Dave. Just saying. What site do you use for your lines, for your picks? I just go on ESPN. When I bet on DraftKings, and those lines are different. But for the purpose of this show, it's just easier to just go to ESPN.com and pull up all the games, and it just lists next to each game the odds. I don't know where ESPN gets their odds from. Is ESPN Bet still a thing? I don't know. Very underrated flick. I don't know why I've never seen it, honestly. Proceeds to respond by explaining to us the law of physics and balancing it. Look, I took AP Physics in high school. I know a little bit about physics, Marshawn, just so you know. Just so you know. I aced AP Physics, just so you know. Damn, Hurts hate is unreal. Freddie, Freddie, I can't take it sometimes. You only fill in like once every other month for me. I deal with this every goddamn day. Mitch Koff, Frost Forrester, I think it was. Okay. You know what? I did hear Frost's name with Mitch Koff. I did. I don't remember hearing Forrester's name, but yeah. The Delphonics are underrated too. What's up, Cameron? Can Jalen Hurts get 4,500 yards this season? That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with all the injuries to the wide receivers. It's going to be tough with Saquon Barkley running the ball the way he does. But I think he can get to 4,000 this year. Is Coots healthy and playing this year? I hope so. I hope so. He's beaten them 13 straight times. Are you kidding me? Beaten who 13 straight times? Dak about to be exiled from the division. Yeah. Dak's going to be playing for the Raiders next year, in my opinion. Maybe the Giants, but the Raiders most likely next year. What is up, Eric? Jumping in late to the show. Playoffs own Dak Prescott. Yeah, exactly. At least we can all agree, outside of Dave. We all might disagree on Jalen Hurts, but we're all in agreement that Dak ain't it. You got to watch that round. It's a crime caper with an all-star cast. I know of the movie and I know the cast, Davey. I don't know why. Maybe I have watched it and I just don't remember. Sounds like a violation that I haven't watched it or can't remember if I have. Check out the AP Physics thing. Is Kyle here? Is he? Anybody? Kyle? Statistician? Because he went to high school with me. He wasn't in AP Physics, but I was. I only took 2 AP classes in high school, Physics and American History. I bombed the AP test, but the class grade itself were straight A's for me. Freddie, a co-counsel on Jalen's legal team. Yeah. I am going to hire David Archeri one of these days. I am. Because I need some help. I don't know if it would fall under workers' compensation or personal injury or criminal law, the way you guys talk about Jalen Hurts. But if I needed a lawyer, I would call the best. I would call David Archeri, the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David Archeri fight for you and get you what you deserve. Again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. All right, back to these comments here. I have my doubts. Dak is the best. As an Eagles fan, we all love that he's the quarterback now and years to come. Yeah, I forgot. Dak ain't going anywhere. He signed his long-term extension. That's right. Duh. Boom. My bad. Thank God he's staying. So there's a rumor going on that your pizza crust is made from miyaki. That is so cheesy. That is probably the cheesiest joke I've seen on this show. Not as good as your comment from yesterday, which blew up on Twitter, too. Who do you dislike more, Jalen Hurts haters or Will Ferrell? Will Ferrell. I never said I hate anybody. Oh, dislike. Okay. But Will Ferrell is the most overrated comedian of all time. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot that. We got all the cherry bombs in the comments, just firing right through them. My physics teacher was an heir to Gordon's gin. He took pleasure in academic torture. My physics teacher was Father Shea. You go, oh boy. That's for Kyle. Kyle's not watching today, but he would get that one right there. I went to Devon Prep, a purist school. So we had a lot of priests teaching us. Father Shea, Father Wiskowitz, Father Paismani. So yeah. Well, I'm not even trying to do that there. There we go. And drove a Porsche to school. We had a teacher like that. We had Mr. Iezzi. I think his family owned a winery in Italy or something like that. He just taught for fun because he was bored. He taught history. He taught Latin. He taught religion. He taught whatever basically was needed. He also would he would record because I'm going back to the mid-90s. He would record every episode of Friends and Seinfeld. And then on Fridays, we'd rewatch them in class, just so you know. Great teacher making us watch reruns of Friends and Seinfeld on Fridays in the classroom. I went viral. I don't know. It wasn't that viral, but people loved your comment yesterday on Twitter. You missed my Cowboys comment. Marshawn comments. Dude. I put the playoff zone Dak up there and I commented on that. I definitely commented on that one. Maybe I just breezed through it a little bit, but you don't breeze through Philly Sports Trips website. Go to phillysportstrips.com if you want to travel or stay home to see your favorite team play. They are the premier travel and tailgate company there is in the Philadelphia area. Whether you want to go to spring training to see the Phillies next year, whether you want to go on a bus trip or a plane trip to see your Eagles take on an opponent on the road. They also have great tailgates down at the sports complex. Make sure you check them out. phillysportstrips.com. When you go to their website, make sure you mention that you heard about them right here on Training the AM on Edge of Philly Sports, because you're not going to want to miss out on that opportunity to promote us and let them know that we're doing our job here on this show and on this great network, which this great network has hit 15,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. Guys, phillysportstrips.com. Let's go on the bus trip to Baltimore, guys. Let's do that together. Guys, you're watching Trending the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Please hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe, that follow button. Please, I greatly appreciate it. Edge of Philly Sports has hit 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. My personal page is only at 81 subscribers. Wouldn't mind a subscription there if you don't mind. It's linked below. And we're going to write on here, Marshawn. Yeah, that's my best Chris Berman impersonation right there. Why did Carmella cheat on Tony with the preacher? She never cheated on him with the preacher. There was that weird, awkward moment during the rainstorm where they watched, I can't remember the movie. It's going to drive me nuts. What movie did they watch that night? They drank a bottle of wine, and they had a little moment, but lips never locked, okay, with the priest's name, and that she did end up hooking up with an actor later on the show when they were separated. But that was a teacher at somebody's school. But just so you know, I do remember that scene though. That episode of Sopranos, one of the greatest TV shows of all time. I just saw the Shawshank referencing. Yeah, this week marks I believe it's the 30th anniversary of the release of Shawshank Redemption. Probably, in my opinion, the greatest movie ever made. And honestly, Duck, that comic is directed towards all the Jalen Hurts haters out there. Why are they so obtuse? Who is the master of the segues? Phil versus Mitchie. Mitchie Poo don't got shit on me when it comes to segues. Washington Commanders will be our next threat for years to come. Cameron, I agree. I'm not sure I totally buy into the Jalen Daniels hype yet. I'm no John Marks or Brandon Lee Gowton out there spewing on their shows that they would take Daniels over Hurts already after 3 games. But they're building something down there in Washington. I still think from real contention they're a year or 2 away. But I talked about it before the season started, Cameron, that there is a chance that Washington would finish with a better record than Dallas this year. And I'll throw that out there again, that is a real legit possibility. But I can see how some people don't like Will Ferrell. It's almost like he tries too hard. He does. He definitely tries too hard. It's slim pickings from her. Yeah. The father just wanted the ziti. That's right. And when Grandma didn't come over, what? No effing ziti? Anthony? I love that scene. One of the first, I think it might have been the first episode, actually. Commanders seem to have finally gotten that O-line fixed up, which is important. Their defense will always decent. Brian Robinson's a solid young running back. They still have Scary Terry at wide receiver. He did. He used Carmella for the ziti and the free wine, of course. Phil, you missed my master segue on Fly Like a Bird's podcast last night. Sorry. I didn't have time. I was busy at the pizza shop last night. One of those days at work when it's just slow all day. The last hour of the day, it's 7 o'clock. All of a sudden, ticket, which I needed the money, so I don't mind making the tickets. But it's like you sit around all day doing nothing, and then you get slammed, and you do 50% of your day's take in the last hour of the day. So, yeah. The commies DBs are still terrible. Well, that should be good when we face them. Jalen segues into a turnover better than anybody. Oh, here we go. Why are you so obtuse, Marshawn? See, as Duck noticed, I've got a really great Shawshank Redemption, reference down there. I'm glad Duck is the only one that notices and gets my references, on a regular basis. Very few people pay attention to the white little box below my name. There's always something. Sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they're serious. Sometimes they are what they are, but, it is what it is. Carmella's a good woman. I want to send her flowers on her birthday. I mean, Edie Falco is an amazing actress. One of the best. But honestly, I'm almost into season 5 of Breaking Bad right now. Who's a more hateable character, Skyler or Carmella? Because they both want to be these good people, and they both present themselves as these pure virtuoso people. But they're both scumbags too. They both accept their husbands' infidelities and their husbands' illegal activities. They turn the cheek. They love the money. They don't love. They try to pretend that they don't love where the money comes from, but they accept it anyway. They love the lifestyle that the money brings them. Carmella was a bit of a bitch, but that goes to Edie Falco being such a great actress. Or like Hurt's season so far. It's all about moments. Exactly. That's like insurance calls 4 p.m. on a Friday, the worst. You're in insurance. Yeah. It's like, look, I need the money. I'm a business. I'm a small business person. Every penny counts. But when you have a slow day at the shop, your mind just starts getting like sidetracked throughout the day and you're just ready to be done. And then the tickets start coming. Like somebody ordered last night, like $7.50 last night, 10 minutes before closing. It was like a $40 order. I didn't bitch and moan. I made the food. I sent it out. But it's like ready to go home. If the Giants hadn't lost their kicker on the opening kickoff, they'd won that game. Didn't even know that. Didn't know that. If we are talking angles, Jalen needs to find the right angle for his passes. He's acute at throwing a clean game. Why is he so obtuse? You call me Philippi? My Felipe? Felipe? That's what my aunt sometimes calls me. Hey, Felipe! That's what my aunt says. No, you're obtuse because you won't see the good in Jalen. Breaking Bad overrated. The wife she is so annoying. We're about like 10 to 12 episodes, 10, 11 episodes into season 4 of it. We've just been busy and haven't been able to catch up on it. But I do love the show. But everyone says it's the best show of all time. It'll be in my top 5 when all is said and done, probably. But I don't know if I'd put it in the number 1 slot. Number 1 slot is reserved for 3 shows, and I don't think Breaking Bad can knock out The Sopranos, The Wire, and The Americans. In my opinion, the 3 most perfect shows ever made right there. Favorite Will Ferrell movie? I don't know, Mitchie Poo. I would almost have to Google search a list, which I'm going to do, and think about it. Just to make sure I don't miss one here. Let's just see a list of movies here. I mean, Anchorman, Old School, Zoolander. Yeah, we wasn't big in Zoolander. Wedding Crashers, that brief spot. I'm thinking Talladega Nights, maybe. Blades of Glory is a little underrated. Not Step Brothers, which I think is awfully overrated. Get Hard sucked. I would probably go with Talladega Nights as my favorite Will Ferrell movie. Either that or Anchorman. They're the only 2 I really, truly love. Elf is good occasionally at Christmas time. But that's about it. They're the only 2 or 3 movies that I can really watch of Will Ferrell and get through. Carmela's family was mobbed up too. They were, yeah. I mean, she was related to Christopher Moltisanti. She knew the life, exactly. She was with it. They were high school sweethearts. Jalen Hurts would be a good baker, especially starts with the T, ends with a Frank the Tank, Frank the Tank, Frank the Tank. Jalen Turner is more than a box of French pastries. Jalen out the fries in the bag. Oh my God. Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes are the best clutch players on the last drive to win a game. Thank you, Cameron. Somebody giving me something good. It's a good Christmas movie. I like Christmas movies. I'm a Christmas sappy kind of guy. I like it. It's not a great movie, but it's a great Christmas movie, if that makes sense. Never said I like him. I just said I like certain movies. I think he's overrated. Guys, let's get into the NFL picks this week, week 4 of the NFL. Last week, I went 12-4 on my picks against the spread, bringing my season total to 27-20-1. I know Stevie Fuentes is 27-21, so I got a half a game lead on Stevie Fuentes. I got 1-0 already because I took the Giants plus 5.5 yesterday. 1 p.m. slate. The Saints travel to the Falcons. The Falcons are 2.5-point favorites. This is a tough one. This is a tough matchup because both teams are okay. Both teams have overachieved a little bit this year. I'm going to take the home team in the Atlanta Falcons in that one. Next game, Rams head to Chicago. The Bears are 3-point favorites. The Rams are beat up. I had hope for the Rams. The Rams have let me down. The Rams have lots of injuries. Caleb Williams gets the win. -3. I'll take the Bears in that one. Vikings go to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers are 3-point favorites. The Vikings bubble bursts this week. Packers win that game and cover the 3 points. Jordan Love may or may not play. Malik Wilson's been playing well there. Packers are a better team than the Vikings, even though the records are different. I will take the Packers in the 3 points. To lose the game, yeah. He's not Mahomes. I'm not agreeing. I'm just glad somebody said something nice about him. Next game on the card, Steelers versus the Colts. Colts are home. Colts are 1.5-point dogs. The Steelers defense is playing great again this year. Big surprise. I'll take the Steelers and the -1.5 on that game. Next game, Broncos coming off their big victory over the Bucs last week, take on the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. Jets are 7.5-point favorites. Broncos have a big letdown. Jets cover the 7.5 points this week. Eagles game, we'll get to that in a little bit when I make my score prediction there. But the Eagles are 2-point favorites in that game at the moment. Bengals travel to the Panthers. Panthers are 4.5-point dogs. The Bengals stink. Joe Burrow is bombing this season away. The bleach blonde has gotten into his brain. I am shockingly taking the Panthers plus 4.5. Not only Panthers plus 4.5, I'm calling the Panthers outright over the Cincinnati Bengals this week. There's a little shocker on my prediction card. The final 1:00 game, the Jacksonville Jaguars head to Houston. Houston Texans are 6-point favorites. Let me tell you, that's my lock of the week. Texans -6. Doug Peterson will be the first coach fired in the NFL this year. Will it happen this week? I don't know, but the Jags are going to lose again. That'll put them at 0-4, I believe, on the season. I'm taking the Texans -6. Let me tell you something. There's some problems between Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is regressing again. Trevor Lawrence might not be as good as people think, but that's the last 1:00 game there. I'm taking the Texans as my stone cold lock. I'm 1-1 on stone cold locks this week or this year. Steelers D looks great again. Offense is garbage. Yeah, I mean, well, you have Justin Fields or Russell Wilson out there. You know, it's going to be what it is. The Steelers have always won because of their defense. So there is that. You know, it is what it is. I took the Panthers too. Andy Dalton, comeback player of the year. I love it. I love it. Different team. Different team with Andy Dalton back there. Miles Sanders still stinks though. Amazing how Red Rifle suddenly magically no longer makes the Panthers the low. Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. Panthers. Yes, exactly. 4:00 games. There was 4 o'clock games this week. The Washington Commanders head out to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Cardinals are 3.5-point favorites. I am going to take the Cardinals. I am not a Kyler Murray fan. I'm taking the Cardinals for one reason, to shut up all the Jalen Daniels hype that everybody after 3 games has given him. Cardinals -3.5. This one's a shocking line here for me. The New England Patriots are heading out to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The 49ers are 10-point favorites in that game. Christian McCaffrey might be out for the year. There's a report coming out. They went to Germany to see the same doctor that did that stuff to Kobe Bryant back in the day. And there's a chance that he might miss months of the season, which is pretty much the season. Javon Hargrave out for the year. Don't know if Debo or Kittle are back. Let me tell you something. Pats won't win this game, but that 10-point line is too much. The Patriots defense has been solid this year most of the time. I'm taking the Patriots plus 10 points. I think it's an easy bet to make. So Patriots plus 10. Next game, the Cleveland Browns head to Vegas to see face the Raiders. Raiders are -2. First off, Deshaun Watson going to Vegas, baby. Come on now. All those massage parlors out there, not a recipe for success right there. I'm going to take the Raiders -2. Chiefs head to LA to face the Chargers. Chargers are 7-point dogs. I'm taking the Chargers plus 7. I'm not ready to say outright win, but AFC West division games are never blowouts. They're always close games. The Chiefs have not looked good. I'm going to predict a Chiefs win, but by very little because of another referee help. Referees help save them again. So I got the Chargers plus 7. We'll get to Sunday Night Football in a second here. Doug Peterson, a better place caller than Nick Sirianni. I don't know, maybe. Oh, no, Phil. Oh, no, Phil, what? Oh, no, Phil, what? What did I do wrong? Please. Follow up the oh, no, Phil with something else. While you're typing your follow-up to oh, no, Phil, I'm going to follow up when you go to watch the Eagles game on Sunday. If you need somewhere to go to Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park. For 65-plus years, they've been the quintessential Irish-American dive bar in Delaware County, 24 Sellers, East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park, DolansBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Great food, great times. When you go in there, make sure you tell PJ and the crew, Edge of Philly Sports, Trend the AM is where you heard about them. Again, Dolan's Bar, Ridley Park. Don't miss it. Just look at that burger. I want it. I want that burger. I do. Facepalm Chargers. Look, I'm not a Chargers fan. And I'm not saying the Chargers win the game. I'm just saying they cover the 7 points. That's all I'm saying there. That is a good thing that you traded for CMC's handcuff for sure. Glad I passed on CM. Yeah, I feel bad. I'm in a family league run by my little 9-year-old nephew Connor, and he got given he won the number 1 draft pick, And he's like, I don't want to take Christian McCaffrey. And everybody convinced him he had to take Christian McCaffrey. And he hates it. And he's 0-3 in the league so far because of it. So poor Connor right there. All right, Sunday Night Football, Bills versus Ravens in Baltimore. Ravens are 2.5-point favorites. Look, I love the Bills this year. I think the Ravens are better than the record says this year. I'm taking the Ravens -2.5 in this game. It's going to be a close. It's going to probably be the best Sunday Night Football game so far this season. It's going to be back and forth. I think the Ravens pull it out on Sunday night. Good thing I had the foresight to draft Jordan Mason in a league and then beat everyone to the wire to get him in another. Smart man, Freddie Defo. Guys, real quick before we do my prediction on the Eagles game here, I want to shout something out here real quickly. I want to shout two things out first. I'm trying to do my shared screen here real quick. I want to shout out my wife. She's fantastic. She's a saint. She's one of the best people in the world. I'm so lucky to have her in my life. We obviously have 4 rescue dogs in our house right now. We couldn't take on any more, but my wife got a phone call from our vet, a traveling vet that comes to our house to take care of our dogs, of a person that passed away, and their dog needed an owner, and she literally spent the entirety of the day yesterday trying to find this dog a home. What is it? Sheba, a home. Its owner passed away, 11-year-old. And let me tell you something. She spent literally the entire day, and she found this puppy a home. Well, old puppy a home. So I want to shout her out because she's fantastic. She does great. And all the people I posted on Twitter, I got some DMs from people that were willing to help. She'd already found something through a Facebook post to find a home for this dog. But, you know, more people need to be like her. More people do. The next thing I want to share, I'm going to close this out real quick, and I'm going to page up real fast to our picture. I saw this on Facebook this morning as a business owner. You know, I want to tell everybody to please be nice to a small business owner or a small business somewhere in your area this week. Just read this. McDonald's can get your order wrong 1,000 times and you still support it. But when a local business makes a mistake once, you criticize it forever. Walmart raises their prices and you never stop shopping there. A small business owner tells you a price and you beg for a discount or question the price. Don't be that person. Support small businesses. Support small entrepreneurs. When I saw this morning, it spoke to me because I deal with this on a daily basis. This is my thought process literally every day working. The reason why I hate doing what I do at my pizza shop is because of posts like this. Not the post itself, but what this post says. So be nice to a small business owner this weekend, guys. Whether it's for pizza, whether it's for a beer, go to a bar that you've never. Go see a bar that's got 4 people sitting and go order something you wouldn't order normally. Support local businesses the right way. It's tough on us out there. So I wanted to share those 2 little things, but shout out to my wife because she is literally the best person in the world. I couldn't pass on CMC. He was auto-selected for me. Oh, that sucks. Good thing that I scored last night. You scored? Got laid? What? Oh, look at that. Yeah, I mean, my wife, spent literally the entirety of the day yesterday working on that. So props to her. She is a fantastic person right there. And she deserves all the credit she doesn't get for what she does for not just our dogs, but other dogs out there that she's always helping. Should just be a $500 super chat to her, not to me, right? That's what it should be. All right, Eagles take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I wrote down as typical. I wrote down 4 scores. She is 100%. To her, not to me. I wrote down 4 scores: 2 Eagles wins, 2 Bucks wins. These are scores. I got Bucks 24-21, Bucks 20-17, Eagles 24-14, Eagles 20-17. I settled on the Eagles winning a low-scoring game, 20-17. Even though before the season I predicted a 2-2 start, as the year goes on, I don't always stick to that. But you know, I think the Buccaneers are not as good as the 2-1 record says. Baker Mayfield will be sacked. Bryce Huff may or may not get a sack, but Baker Mayfield will be sacked 3 times. Baker Mayfield will throw 1 interception this week. Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore will run a very methodical offense, lots of running, lots of dinking and dunking with the football. I think the Eagles dominate the clock. It still comes down to the last drive. But I think the Bucs defense will be worn out by that point. Whether we have to stop Baker Mayfield, maybe that's when Quinyon Mitchell gets his first interception. Maybe that's when Bryce Huff gets his first sack to seal the game. Eagles win 20-17 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, guys, give me your score predictions in the chat right there now. Absolutely with that. I think they do it. Yaya Diaby, edge rusher. He might got to control him. Again, got to stop Bucky Irving. Got to stop Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Weather will play a factor. But I got 20-17. Eagles win. Get to 3-1. Going into the bye, tell me what you think. Give me your prediction. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. 1,000%. Come on, score predictions. Score predictions, guys. Let's go. We got 10 minutes left in the show, guys, here. Till you guys won't see me again until Monday morning. Next week, we got a jam-packed week next week. Already working on guests. We got Sean Bernard coming on Wednesday to talk Sixers training camp, which is about to get underway. I think actually Tuesday's the start. So Wednesday, we got Sean Bernard. We got a special Eagles content creator, big timer, coming on Thursday. Still working. I want to get a Phillies guy on for Tuesday to talk playoffs as well. Playoffs. So we got lots working on this next week here. K1's going even lower scoring. I thought of like 17-14 K1 too. 16-13 could very well be the score. Joe saying 27-21 Bucks. I could say it. It's going to be a close, hard-fought game. And coming into the season, I had the Eagles losing this game. So your preseason predictions are always different than your regular season because you get in the heat of the moment and stuff like that. But I can say it. I said it's a tough start. This schedule has been brutal for the Eagles. I don't even know when the Eagles are going to be able to fly into Tampa for the game because the airport's closed. And the earliest it's going to be open is Saturday afternoon. So it's going to be interesting. Eagles win 24-20. Saquon will be the whole offense. That would be an ideal game. Ideal way for it to go. It might be a rain game. So what? So Jalen's going to throw the ball 45 times. Probably is what that means right there. But yeah, I got you on that. I lost my train of thought. I was talking about something else there for a second. 23-17. Eagles, Bucks, Flyers. Who? What? Something? Anything? Somebody? I don't know. I'm assuming Eric's predicting the Eagles will win the game, but I could be wrong right there. The weather will definitely dictate a lower scoring game. And absolutely, let's just, at the final 5 minutes of the show, just think about everybody in the line of the storm. Is anybody else like me? When there's a major storm or weather thing going on, I am locked into the Weather Channel. Like, it scares the living hell out of me. But on the flip side, I am like gripped by what, like after the Flyers game ended, I went right to the Weather Channel last night. And I literally watched an hour of hurricane coverage. Straight. I was watching one scene. This guy was somewhere down in Florida and it hadn't quite, or no, he was in Georgia and he was underneath a roof with a building protecting from the wind. And all of a sudden you heard a bang and they cut right to commercial. They came back, a part of the roof ripped off right over top of them. Those weather reporters out in the field are some of the biggest badasses there are out there. No way I'm standing out there in the middle of a hurricane. But it's gripping television to me. Like, I almost feel like I should have been a meteorologist at some point because I'm just so fascinated with Mother Nature and the weather. But yes, prayers up to everybody. Positive vibes thought. Like I said earlier in the show, my man Joe Castro, Philly the pod. He's down there. I saw him already posting videos of his parking lot or out in front of his apartment, man. Dude, just flooded. Like, cars buried underwater. It's just scary and sad. 21-18 Eagles. Another low-scoring game. Yes, I agree with that. How many field goals will they? Will they even kick one? 20-17. I'm trying to. How do I get to 2017 with no field goals kicked? You got 6 points for touchdowns. So 3 touchdowns with 1 2-point conversion and 2 missed 2-point conversions. My God, my gal can't get. I love it. I'm like, my wife can't stand it, but I'm fascinated by it, K1. I don't know why. Because weather and Mother Nature scares me like there's no tomorrow. But yet it's gripping television. It is. Like, because I feel for the people. I've been when I worked on cruise ships, we sailed right into a hurricane at one point. It was just not avoidable. And so I know bad weather, man. It's scary, man. It is. Phil, what do you think is going on with Devin White in playing time? You can't bench Zach Bond into Kobe Dean. It's that simple. You got to bench somebody to activate Devin White. Who are you benching? He says he won't play. Well, it's been rumored he said he won't play special teams. So what are you doing? You got to bench Bryce Huff. Howie Roseman paid Bryce Huff $51 million. You're not. Howie Roseman's not going to let Bryce Huff be completely benched. It's plain and simple. It's Devin White, it's Jalen Hunt, Isaiah Rodgers, all of them are getting no playing time. And it's a shame. I would love to see Devin White get an opportunity this week being against his former team that didn't want him anymore. Devin White's here because the Bucs didn't want him anymore. And when I put out something about, by the way, on Devin White a couple weeks ago, boatloads of Bucs fans were all in my mentions, talking about how good luck with him. We didn't want him. Nobody wants him. Now you're seeing what kind of problem he was here. So supposedly, according to Bucs fans, he was a troublemaker in Tampa as well. I can't predict this game. Nooms, it's a close game. It could go. It's going to be 2017 Eagles. Could be 2017 Bucs as well. That's my opinion. Devin White is benched because they have preferred players they want to work out. Yeah, for sure. And you can't. Those preferred players are playing well. It is what it is. I would love to see him get an opportunity this week, though. I really would. I just don't think it's going to happen. They just don't. And like I said, the Bucs fans are kind of laughing at us right now because we're frustrated with Devin White, but they're glad to an extent. Yes, prayers up and bubbles up. Bubbles up always. Bubbles up for sure. If Hurts plays a clean game and get a nice start to the game, we should be able to have a decent win. Yeah, I was thinking, what was it last year when we played the Bucs? Like 25-11? I was trying to come up with a way to get us to a score like that. I could see a 24-10 Eagles win. Duck, something like that, 24-14, where we just dominate the game. Still low scoring because of the weather and because we're going to run the ball a lot. But I could see a scenario where a 24-ish to 10-ish score comes into play this week for the Eagles. I really do. I think the Eagles are the better team, even with the injuries. The injuries are going to play a factor in it, but the injuries and the weather are why it's a low. If we were 100% healthy, I'd have the Eagles win in this game like 35 to 14 or something like that. That's how much better of a team the Eagles are than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How many interceptions will Jalen Hurts throw? Bold prediction: 0. 0 interceptions for Jalen Hurts this week. If Carter has a game like he had last week, it will be a long day for the Bucs. Absolutely. And I closed my book already. Was it Cody Mouch? The main guard for the Bucs that'll be trying to stop him. I think it's Cody Mouch. Yeah, Cody Mouch. So it's up to Jalen Carter to dominate Cody Mouch all game long. I think it's a key matchup in the game for the Eagles. It'd be great if Lane Johnson could play as well, especially with the running attack that we're going to do. Guys, let's start the wrap-up process here for Trending the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, retweet. Do it all, guys. Even if you're watching this on replay, please hit those like buttons, hit those share buttons. Can the Eagles win 6th? Mitchie Poo, never change. We love you. But with that being said, we are going to start the wrap-up process here next week. Again, it's bye week next week, so we're going to have some fun. Monday, we'll overreact to this game, but we're going to prep for Phillies playoffs next week. We're going to prep for Sixers training camp next week. We're going to talk Flyers season starting predictions next week. We're going to talk everything next week. Everything next week. It's going to be an open book next week with lots of guests and lots of different things. So make sure you strap in for next week. It's gonna be a fun one next week. The Phillies' first preseason or playoff game will be Saturday. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. It's a great first weekend for Phillies playoffs because there's no Eagles game. So everybody in Philly is gonna be dead set. Shout out also to Joel Embiid, who's in this conference right now speaking to people. And I forget what the title of the conference is called, but he did announce yesterday that he is expecting his second child with his wife, a little girl. So shout out to Joel Embiid and his family for the newest addition that will be incoming. Joel Embiid having another baby, which is pretty awesome right there. So we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. Lots of fun stuff, but Monday we will be back. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to my personal channel for shorts because I'll give out all my bets Sunday morning. I'm going to start a new segment. It's going to be 60 seconds or less. All my bets in 60 seconds or less. So make sure. No, don't encourage it. Don't encourage it. Trust the conference. Yeah, is that what it is? Guys, with that being said, guys, I'm Phil Stiefel, your host here every morning. Guys, I'll see you next week. Go Birds. Ring the bell. And guys, as always, bubbles up to you.